intrigue and aspiration. What if the key to unlocking your greatest desires isn't out there, but already within you? For centuries, mystics and masters have whispered about the Oneness secret, a powerful truth that could redefine your reality. Discover how understanding this one principle can instantly amplify your ability to manifest the life you've always dreamed of. All right, family, listen up. You're ready to get into some real, unfiltered truth. I'm not here to drop some new age, fluffy stuff on you. Nah, we're about to go deep into the real nitty-gritty of who you are and what you're truly capable of. You know, the way my man Joel S. Goldsmith would start these talks, he wouldn't just be like, "Hey, how y'all doing?" He'd come from a place of pure, solid knowing. He'd look out at the crowd, real quiet for a second, and then hit M with this vibe like, "Come up higher. The view is better from here." He was basically saying, stop playing small in the kiddie pool. The whole ocean of God's power is waiting for you. So that's what we're doing today. We're leaving the kiddie pool. We're going to crack open the Oneness secret, manifesting your divine power. And let's be clear, this ain't about getting power from some outside source like you're ordering a latte. This is about waking up to the power that's already yours, that's been running the whole show from the inside this whole time. It's about realizing you're not a separate little self trying to hustle and manifest your way to a better life. You are the very life itself, expressing right here, right now. So, if you're tired of the struggle, tired of feeling like you're on the outside looking in, you need to stick around for this. And at the end of your speech, lean in, your voice dropping to a more intimate, powerful tone. So there it is. The secret's out. You're not a beggar at the gate, or you are the gate. This oneness thing isn't a philosophy to think about. It's a reality to live from 24/7. It changes everything. And the real question is, what are you going to do with this now? This knowing, this power. Don't just let this be another video you watch. This is your moment to own it. So if this hit home for you, if you felt that inner click, you gotta let me know. Smash that like button. Subscribe so you don't miss what we're building here, and down in the comments, don't just write, "Great talk." Tell me the number 1111. You see that number? It's a universal wink, a reminder that you're dialed in, you're synced up, you're one with the divine rhythm. Drop 1111, and let's see how many of us are truly waking up out here. The journey's just getting started. Let's roll, of course. Here is the expansion of your first keynote, continuing directly from the flow of the introduction. So, if you're tired of the struggle, tired of feeling like you're on the outside looking in, you need to stick around for this, because we're kicking it all off with a truth so foundational, it can either sound like the most obvious thing in the world, or it can completely rock your entire universe. And it's this: you ain't getting power, you are the power. Let that marinate for a second. We spend our whole lives on this hamster wheel, right? We're out here hustling, praying, affirmating, vision boarding, all in this frantic attempt to attract some kind of power, some kind of blessing from outside of ourselves. We're treating the divine like it's Amazon Prime, adding our desires to the cart and hoping for a speedy delivery. We're like a fish in the ocean, desperately praying for water, completely unaware that it's swimming in the very substance it's begging for. That's the core of the illusion, the sense of separation, this feeling that God or the universe or spirit, or whatever you want to call it, is a separate CEO in a sky-high corporate office, and you're just a low-level employee sending up desperate memos and hoping for a favorable response. You're trying to get something from God. But what if you could never be separate from what you are? What if your very awareness, the very life force that's animating your body and reading these words right now, is the power itself? This is the radical shift. This is where we move from being a beggar with a tin cup to recognizing we are the entire overflowing well. Your I am! That simple, quiet sense of being that you feel before you even attach a single thought to it. That's not just a phrase. That's the sacred name. That's the point of connection, or more accurately, the point of recognition. When you sit in the silence and just be, without labeling yourself as rich or poor, sick or healthy, successful or a failure, in that pristine space of pure I am, you are tapping into the unformed, unlimited potential of the divine. You are not a person trying to channel God. In that moment, you are God being conscious as you. So what does this mean for your day-to-day grind? It changes everything. It means you stop looking for external validation to give you permission to be powerful. You stop waiting for the perfect job, the perfect partner, the perfect bank account to finally feel whole and capable. You are the source. Right now, in this breath, the power that formed galaxies, that orchestrates the seasons, that beats your heart without you ever giving it a single thought. That intelligence, that creativity, that unstoppable life force is what you are made of. It's not an additive, it's your core ingredient. When you truly get this, not just as an intellectual concept, but as a felt experience in your bones, the whole game changes. Your prayer isn't "please give me" anymore. It becomes "thank you for expressing as me." Your work isn't about creating something from nothing, but about allowing the infinite power that you are to take form in, as, and through your life. You begin to understand that every challenge, every obstacle, is just a call to go deeper into the truth of your own nature, to stop identifying as the wave fighting the ocean, and to relax back into being the entire, boundless sea. This shift in identity is where the real magic happens, because you can't truly live as the power and still operate from a place of lack. That brings us to our next crucial point. You got to drop beggar mentality and embrace what I call the king consciousness. Now, hold up, I'm not talking about ego, about being arrogant or lording over people. That's the complete opposite of this. That's still the little separate self, just dressed up in a fancy costume. I'm talking about the consciousness of a sovereign ruler, the innate knowing of your divine right to the entire kingdom. Think about it. A beggar sits outside the palace gates. His entire world is defined by what he doesn't have. He's focused on his empty stomach, his tattered clothes, his need. He holds out his cup, and his reality is one of pleading, hoping, and waiting for a scrap of mercy from someone who has more than him. His entire energy is one of not enough. Now, contrast that with the kings inside the palace. The king doesn't wake up worried about his next meal. He doesn't stress about the clothes in his wardrobe. Why? Because he knows, without a single doubt, that the entire resources of the kingdom are his. He doesn't own them in a greedy, possessive way. He functions as their steward. His focus isn't on the lack of a single coin, but on the abundant, flowing wealth of the entire nation. His consciousness is one of ownership, not of things, but of the source itself. Most of us, if we're really honest, are living like that beggar outside the gates of our own life. We're begging the universe for a better job, begging for a loving relationship, begging for healing, begging for a break. We're so focused on the empty cup that we never realize we are the heirs to the whole darn castle. We've been tricked by the illusion of separation into believing we're homeless, when in fact we are the kingdom. Embracing king consciousness is the decision to stop identifying with the beggar and to remember your true citizenship. It's the inner shift from "please, can I have?" to "I am the authority here." This is about your inner posture. It's the silent, unshakable knowing that because you are one with the source, the infinite resources of the universe are your natural inheritance. You don't have to fight for your good. You simply have to assume your rightful place as the steward of it. It means when a problem arises, you don't panic like a beggar who has just lost his last coin. You respond like a king, with the calm assurance that the entire treasury is at your disposal to meet the need. You stop reacting to the appearance of lack in the outer world because you are rooted in the truth of the inner abundance that is your very being. This isn't a call to be passive, A good king is active and engaged, but his actions spring from a center of fullness, not from a center of fear and desperation. He doesn't build moats out of insecurity. He opens gates from a place of generosity and strength. When you operate from king consciousness, your work in the world becomes an act of co-creation, a joyful expression of the kingdom expressing itself through you. You make decisions not from a place of, what can I get? But from a place of, what is the highest good wanting to manifest here? You stop trying to take from life, and you start allowing life to flow through you. The beggar hopes for a miracle. The king, knowing he is one with the miraculous, simply decrees a new reality from the throne of his own I am-ness. This shift from beggar to king isn't just a nice idea you ponder on a Sunday morning. It's not some abstract philosophy you file away with your other self-help books. This is where we get real and talk about practical application. This oneness, this king consciousness, it ain't a theory, it's the operating system. Let's break that down. Think about your smartphone. You don't see the code, right? You don't see the millions of lines of programming that make the whole thing tick. What you see is the interface. You tap an icon and the app opens. You swipe and the screen changes. That smooth, seamless experience you have is all because of the operating system working silently, perfectly, in the background. It is the invisible intelligence that makes everything possible. Now, most people are trying to manifest by just messing with the apps. They're changing their profile picture, rearranging the icons, downloading a new one. That's the equivalent of using affirmations, changing your routine, or trying a new law of attraction hack. It might give you a temporary new look, but it doesn't change the core functionality. If the operating system itself is buggy, if it's built on the virus of separation and lack, then no matter how many new apps you download, the whole device is going to be slow, glitchy, and ultimately ineffective. Realizing your oneness is the moment you stop being a frustrated user and you become the programmer. You're no longer just interacting with the apps. You're going into the source code and rewriting the fundamental instructions. You're deleting the buggy, limiting beliefs like I am separate and I am not enough. And you're uploading the core, universal truth, I am one with the infinite. The kingdom is within. When you make that shift, everything changes, not because you're forcing the apps to behave, but because the entire system is now running on a higher, flawless, and infinitely powerful program. Your life, with all its apps, your health, your wealth, your relationships, starts to reflect this new, seamless, and efficient operating system. Challenges that used to cause a full system crash now become minor notifications you can handle with ease. Synchronicity becomes the norm, because the system is perfectly integrated with the universal network. You stop trying to force outcomes through willpower, which is like mashing the keyboard in frustration, and you start allowing solutions to emerge from the infinite intelligence of the system itself. Your intuition becomes your most trusted background process, guiding your every tap and swipe. Your actions are no longer frantic efforts to get something, but natural, graceful expressions of the power that is already flowing through the hardware. You are, quite literally, rebooting your entire experience of reality from the ground up, installing the one, true OS that was designed to run the universe itself. Of course, here is the expansion of your fourth keynote, continuing the flow. And what is the source code of this new operating system? What is the fundamental command that makes the whole thing boot up? It's that simple yet profound, I am. This isn't just your name. This isn't just your ego with a fancy title.
Your I am
Is the ultimate Wi-Fi. And your ego is just one of the devices connected to it, and a notoriously glitchy one at that. Let's be clear about this distinction, because getting this wrong is like trying to stream a 4K movie on a dial-up connection. Your ego is that voice in your head. It's the part of you that has a resume. It's the collection of all your stories, your past triumphs, your heartbreaks, your name, your job title, what you think other people think of you. It's the separate self, and its entire existence is based on defining itself against everything else. It's finite, it's fragile, and it's always seeking more to feel complete. It's the device that's always running low on battery, constantly searching for a power outlet in the external world. Now, your I am is something else entirely. It's the silent, aware space before the thoughts kick in. It's the consciousness that is aware of the ego. It has no story. It has no past. It doesn't need a resume because it is the source of all that is. It's not a thing. It's the awareness in which all things appear. And this I am is your direct, unmediated connection to the divine. It is the Wi-Fi signal itself, infinite, limitless, and broadcasting the full power of the universe 24/7. You don't have to build this signal. You don't have to earn it. You can only be it. The problem for most people is that they are completely identified with the device. They think they are the laptop that's complaining about a weak signal, rather than the powerful, invisible signal that makes all connection possible. They're trying to use the ego, which is inherently limited and fearful, to connect to the infinite. It's like trying to access the entire internet through a broken calculator. It's never going to happen. The ego can't manifest anything but more ego, problems. It's the part of you that is always trying to get connected, never realizing it's already swimming in the connection. So the work, the real, deep work, is to shift your identity from the device to the signal. It's to stop saying, I am John, who is struggling and needs a better job. And to rest, even for a moment, in the pure, unqualified I am. In that space, you are not a person trying to pray to God. You are God conscious as life. From that vantage point, you aren't requesting a stronger connection to the universal intelligence. You are the universal intelligence, localizing as this specific, beautiful point of expression. When you need guidance, you don't beg for a sign. You quiet the noisy device and allow the infinite data of intuition to download directly into your awareness. When you need provision, you don't focus on the empty bank account. You tap into the feeling, tone of the source, which is infinite abundance, and you let that frequency reconfigure your outer world. You stop trying to fix the device, and you start aligning it with the perfect, omnipresent signal that is your true self. This understanding completely reframes the entire process of creation. When you know you are the Wi-Fi and not the device, the whole idea of manifesting gets a serious upgrade. It stops being a technique and starts being your natural state of being. This is what I mean when I say that manifestation is an inside-out vibe check. We've been sold a bill of goods about manifestation. We're told to make vision boards, repeat affirmations until our tongues go numb, and try to mentally wrestle our desired reality into existence. But let's keep it a buck. That approach is still coming from the ego, from the device. It's the laptop frantically typing up a request for a stronger signal, thinking that if it just uses the right words, the Wi-Fi will finally comply. That's exhausting, and deep down, it feels like a hustle. It's trying to arrange the outer world while ignoring the inner frequency. Your inner state, your vibe, is not some fluffy, mystical concept. It is the actual magnetic field of your consciousness. It's the fundamental frequency you are broadcasting from the core of your being, from that I am space, where the universe, in its flawless, impersonal mechanics, doesn't respond to the words you say, it responds to the frequency you are. It's a perfect mirror, always and only reflecting back to you the exact quality of your inner energy. If your core vibration is lack, you can chant, I am abundant, 1,000,000 times, but you'll only manifest more scenarios that make you feel the lack. If your core vibration is unworthiness, you can visualize your soulmate all day, but you'll only attract relationships that confirm you weren't worthy all along. A true vibe check is the deepest form of self-honesty. It's pausing in the middle of your day, in the middle of your worry, and asking, what is the fundamental frequency I'm holding right now? Am I vibrating at the frequency of the king, who knows the resources of the kingdom are his? Or am I vibrating at the frequency of the beggar? What, hoping for a scrap? You have to feel the kingdom within you before you can see it outside of you. You don't get the thing to feel the feeling. You cultivate the feeling to become the person for whom the thing is a natural byproduct. This is an inside-out job. It means your primary work is on your inner atmosphere. When you need healing, you don't just focus on the sick body, you sink into the feeling of wholeness, into the truth of the I am that was never sick, and you let that perfect, whole vibration recalibrate the physical form. When you desire a soulmate, you stop looking for another person to complete you, and you start radiating the frequency of complete, fulfilled love from within, knowing that this will inevitably attract a mirror of that completion. You aren't pushing energy out to manipulate the world. You are aligning your inner state with the reality of your oneness, and the world has no choice but to rearrange itself to match that truth. The outer world is always the last to get the memo. Your job is to stop waiting for the external proof and to start living from the internal cause. This brings us to the final, and perhaps most liberating, piece of the puzzle. If manifestation is an inside-out vibe check, then we have to completely rethink our relationship with the world around us. This is where we drop the last vestige of the beggar mentality and see the universe for what it truly is. The universe ain't a vending machine, it's your mirror. Think about the vending machine approach. You put your prayer in, you push the right button with your affirmation, and you stand there shaking the machine if your blessing doesn't drop down. You're doing specific rituals to get specific results. You're in a transaction with God. I did my meditation, so where's my Mercedes? This entire model is built on separation. It reinforces the idea that you are here, the thing you want is out there, and you need to perform correctly to bridge the gap. It keeps you locked in a cycle of hope, anxiety, and often disappointment when the machine doesn't deliver what you ordered. But a mirror is different. A mirror doesn't do anything. It has no agenda. It doesn't reward or punish. It simply, flawlessly, and instantly reflects back whatever is placed in front of it. If you stand in front of a mirror with a scowl on your face, it doesn't argue with you. It shows you a scowling face. If you then change what you are, if you relax, if you smile, the mirror has no choice but to instantly reflect that new reality. The power was never in the mirror, it was always in you, the one making the expression. Your life, your physical body, your bank account, your relationships, is that mirror. It is a perfect, non-judgmental reflection of your inner state, of the core vibrations you are consistently holding in your consciousness. The scarcity you see out there is a reflection of the scarcity consciousness you are holding in here. The conflict you experience with others is a reflection of an unresolved inner conflict. The body that feels weak or sick is reflecting a consciousness that has, on some level, accepted a vibration of disempowerment or dis-ease. This isn't about blame, that's the ego's game. This is about profound responsibility, the ability to respond, to change what you are presenting to the mirror. When you truly grasp this, your focus undergoes a radical shift. You stop trying to change the reflection by wiping the mirror. That's the equivalent of trying to fix your life through sheer external force and will. Instead, you turn your attention entirely to the source of the reflection, your own state of being. You ask yourself, what would my inner world have to feel like for my outer world to look the way I desire? And then you do the inner work. You cultivate the feeling of abundance until the mirror shows you new opportunities. You cultivate inner peace until the mirror shows you harmonious relationships. You abide in the consciousness of perfect health until that truth manifests in the body. The universe, as your mirror, is utterly faithful. It can only show you what you truly are in this moment. So if you don't like what you see, the only place to look for change is not at the reflection, but at the face that is creating it.